So, the first piece of information that came out here is they're saying pretty much, you live your own life and do not compare yourself with what other people are doing, okay? Don't compare your life with another person that might be in the same age group, in the same profession, in the same, relationship, like similar relationship, etc. So it's all about, everybody's life is going to be different. And so if we're projecting and we're, trying to figure out at 30, I want to do this. At 40, I want to have this. At 50, I want this to be in my life. I feel that it's nice to set these goals, but it's also can be very constraining as well. Okay. And especially if you're setting your goals, pegging your goals to another person, and especially if you're comparing yourself where you are timeline wise with another person that might be that you feel is very successful or they have all these things going for them, it would be very detrimental for you to do that. Okay. So the first thing that came out essentially is you need to live your life your own way. The second message that I feel for some of you is this. And it keeps going back to relationship. And I try to make these a lot more general, but it keeps going back to relationships and why it happened the way that it did. Okay. I feel that a lot of you are mourning the loss of somebody. So there's still this mourning period. So we have here the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups, I feel that in this situation, some of you are not really sure you did the right thing. And some of you wish for a second chance. And you're just like, if I had done this, if the other person had done this, it would have worked out. And I feel that, you're not somebody that really doubts yourself often. You're very directed with your energy. You know what needs to be done and you get to it. Okay. So that means even making the harder decision. But I feel that this is an emotional decision. And when overall across the board with everybody, when it's an emotional decision, we don't always act rationally. We don't always filter it out through logic. We think about, emotionally, what could I have done differently? Was that the best outcome? What could the other person have done something differently? And could we have achieved the best outcome together? So there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of what ifs. There is enough like accepting the situation. Okay. And, I feel that some of you have a very, very long standing karmic relationship with another person. And I feel that it was long standing. It was very tumultuous. It was very emotionally deeply rooted. And the relationship itself was all about security. So here's what I feel. I feel that for some of you, the security comes through the fact that you like the way that you look with the other person in public. Okay. So it could be like an ego gratifying type of relationship where you both might be seen as the power couple, or you just, you might be very attracted to the other person. They likewise are very attracted to you. So the relationship really boosts your self-esteem and you identify so strongly with that relationship, your sense of self-worth, your security was pegged on that relationship. And with the relationship no longer being in the picture, you might have this a little bit of an identity crisis, a little bit of a self-esteem dip, and you're trying to find your footing. And then for others of you, there were promises, great promises made in this relationship, and you held that person in high esteem. And so you were waiting for the promises, and the promises, for whatever reason, there was a separation, and I feel that the person never held up their end of the bargain. And so your sense of security, you put your life on hold. You try to build wealth together with the other person. And you felt that, it was going to go the distance. It was going to be the one. It was going to provide you with that, that coming home, that end of the road, happily ever after. And it didn't pan out. And because your future was pegged on that person, now you're going through a period of withdrawal where you're trying to figure out, where do I stand now? What do I do now? So I feel there's still a lot of, I'm sensing, sadness and grief. For some of you, this might not even be recent, but I feel that there's this sense of like, what do I do now? Who am I now? And so there's a lot of reassessment happening here. And I feel the reassessment is not entirely healthy because, you are your own person, right? And so because you're your own person, that person that is no longer in your life should not detract you from who you are, who you have always been originally. So it's almost like a false sense of like, it's like an identity crisis, but I do feel that in a way, it's forcing you to rebuild. It's forcing you to, figure out, get to the fundamentals of you, who you are as a person first. Before this person came into the picture, who are you innately? And how has they chipped away at who you are? How has, that relationship, that karmic relationship, how has it really affected you? So you can look at it as, did I grow a lot from the relationship? Because I feel like a lot of you have grown. It really stretched your ability to love. And because you really love that person, you were emotionally wrapped up. And that's when I mean, like, we tend to lose ourselves. And then for others of you, I feel that regardless, no matter what you think about that relationship, there was a lot of growth as an individual. You grew a lot in that relationship, and I feel like you grew for the better. And so take it in strides because, we encounter other people so that we can grow, so that we can come to the best, we can become the best person that we can be in this lifetime. Okay. And also relationships as well prepare us for the person that we're meant to be with. And so I feel that releasing that person, I feel some of you have done it physically. You had to, they're no longer in the picture. Others of you, you're still dealing with some resentment. And for those of you still dealing with the resentment, I want you to really understand, okay? The person you were dealing with was very, very stubborn. And the resentment that you're feeling as well, it might be the fact that they didn't love me enough to change their point of view. And it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. The person that you're dealing with, they're an individual and they have security issues that they needed to take care of on their own. So it has nothing to do with how much they love you. It has nothing to do with that. Okay. And I feel that you want to let go of this resentment because I feel that a lot of you put your life on hold. You've made sacrifices. And when this person left the picture, it just felt very, it just felt very blasé. It just felt almost like, the rug ripped out from under you, right? And you're still trying to find your footing. You're still trying to make sense of it. You're still dealing with some type of internal conflict here with the Five of Wands. And there's still some reshuffling. The energy is not settled yet. Coming through for the month of May, one of the major advice that I can give you here is, this is your card. Okay, so this is the Emperor. A lot of the times, this card basically reminds us some hard decisions need to be made because it's the right thing. Okay, it's made not from the heart, but from a place of logic, and it's made because it's the right thing to do. So it has nothing to do with love. It has nothing to do with, our sense of identity merging with another person. The decision needed to be made because the relationship was stagnant. You're not growing from it anymore. And so it needed to be weaned out of your life. So these hard decisions, I feel that you're dealing with somebody who's very stubborn and you can't really convince them. And in the process of them not bending to your will, you feel that they never loved me. It has nothing to do with that, okay? It has nothing to do, don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with emotions. It's a logical decision and it provides the best outcome for everybody involved, okay? Okay. So the energies that I'm picking up is there's a lot of household activity. So I feel that, first of all, in the public environment, which is, your professional realm, I do see a lot of you are devoting a lot of time either catching up with work or doing a lot more extra work. So I see like, the portfolios near your table, just piling up with cases, with different forms that you have to fill out, with, you know, things that you need to get authorized and things that you need like a lot of signatures on. I also feel that there are a lot of you as well in the home environment. There's a lot of things that are have been kind of like laying dormant on the wayside, and you need to catch up with that as well. Okay, so I do see a lot of spring cleaning actually happening for you guys. I also see like a lot of you are thinking, shifting things around, like rearranging furniture, shifting things around in your home environment. And so it's a very, very busy month. And I might have mentioned this in the monthly reading. I'm not sure if it was for you or for Gemini, but I mentioned very busy energy. So just make sure you're staying on top of things, okay? So the other message that come through here denotes like strained communication that you have with another person. So I feel like it's almost like tiptoeing on eggshells around another person. You know, it feels almost like the elephant in the room. Two people know something needs to be addressed, something needs to be talked about, but for some reason there's strained communication. Either the other person is not receptive, or you both are trying to dodge or to skirt around some type of issue. So I feel like that's coming through. Make sure you get enough sleep, because I do sense that, you know, this is the month where I feel like things are a lot worse in your head than it is in real life. Okay. So if you spend a lot of time ruminating over things, I feel like it can, you know, it can like snowball out of control. So don't let your fears overcome you, and especially don't let your fears burden you where you are not able to, you know, really enjoy your life for this month, and especially for the next 2 weeks. What I'm seeing as well is I'm sensing there isn't a lot of opportunities for you to spend money this month, which I feel is a good thing. It's almost like there's a lot of stuff happening in the work environment and then also in the house environment. So it feels to me like you might not have the adequate time necessary to, you know, go out, enjoy yourself, and to be around other people. And so as a result of that, I do feel like there's a lot more opportunities to entertain guests at home and to stay home as well. I do feel a heavy air sign in your environment. So this is an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. This is someone dealing with their own stress, okay? And I feel like they might have trouble verbalizing how they feel, verbalizing like what's really on their mind, and verbalizing even their intentions. So I do sense that they're dealing with some things, and it's all very internal. It's almost like they're keeping it in, and they don't really want other people to see this side of them, this vulnerable, this distressed side to them. And if that's the case, if you are dealing with this person, especially in your home environment, or if it's like with within your friendship circle, I do feel it's important for you to reach out and, you know, make sure that they're okay. All right. So I feel like more a female figure. I'm seeing like female figure, darker hair on the darker spectrum. Okay. So like lighter skin, darker hair. That's what it feels like to me. And especially if this is somebody living in your environment, I feel like they're dealing with some financial stress on their own, and they're dealing with some work related situation. So it could be, you know, stress from work, or not finding work, or some things like that. So I feel like they're concerned first of all with work, and then the lack of financial income that's coming through for them. So overall, I feel like for a lot of singles, there might be, you know, sparks of attraction to a new person. I feel that you're not really, for some of you who are newly single, you're not really at a point where you want to date. And I feel as well, you're so concentrated in the work environment that if people were flirting with you or making passes at you, I feel like you don't really give it, you know, much attention. But I do see a lot of flirtations around your environment. It's almost like people like what they see, and they're trying to approach you, but you kind of like wall up. You put up this wall, and then they don't really know how to, you know, approach you, how to advance towards you. I feel like there might be a water sign, so Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, in your work environment that might be a little bit shy about approaching you, but I feel like there's some interest coming through from their end. Okay, it's like they're looking at you, and they're showing interest, and they're trying to approach, but you know, you're keeping them kind of like at arm's length. Okay, so that's coming in the work environment. So the last message I have here pretty much is I feel like the last week of the month there will be a lot of opportunities to get together with other people. Okay, so I feel like you are finishing up like a batch of something and then you're sending it out. And once you're done with that, it feels to me like you have a lot of downtime, especially the last 4 days of the month where you can, let your hair down and enjoy the free time and enjoy, catching up with people once again. So you have some really good things coming through. Just check on your friends, check on the people who you're living with, and see what's going on with them, because I feel like energetically the environment around, like, the people are dealing with some stressors in their lives. Okay.